You can never suffer enough to help those who are suffering. Man, that's hard, isn't it? That is a very hard idea to get and to live. And I think the easiest way for me to understand it and to live it is to think of it in terms of money. So if you exchange money for suffering, and it's like you can never be poor enough to help the poor, then it makes sense to me. So it's like, oh, I see all these poor people or people who are, have very little money. So let me give away everything I have to help them. So I'll be just like them, and that in some way will help them. Doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is, right, well, let me see if I can figure out how this money thing works and get a lot of money and then go and help them. So I help them by giving them money. That's going to help short term. And then maybe I can pass on whatever I figured out about how the money thing works. Maybe, that will help long term. So that to me makes sense, to do with money. And then if you bring that back into suffering, it's like you can never suffer enough to help people who are suffering. That's where it gets tricky, because on the one hand, if you come across something, like there's different degrees of it, really, isn't there? Like, you can see something on the news and you can see raw suffering, 360-degree suffering on the news, and that's very disturbing, and your heart breaks. And I think it's important to feel it and to not kind of, tighten up your heart because it's too painful. But unless you're moved to actually go to the place where the suffering is, and which place are you going to choose? Whatever one you choose, there's going to be another one ones that you didn't choose. So that's hard. Then there's like suffering that you see and that you can do something about. And if you are so moved to do something, beautiful, do that. Very important to kind of know this thing about action and taking action. But that's not really what this idea of you can never suffer enough. It's more of a kind of frequency thing. Because what often happens is we see something on the news and we're heartbroken. How can this be happening? How can this be happening in the world? And I feel powerless to do anything about it. So the only thing I can do to help those people, is to be really sad for them and to be really upset all the time. And maybe I'll post some things on social media about how upset I am. Maybe I'll comment. Maybe I'll make videos saying, wake up, trying to get people to wake up. And if I'm, my interaction, when people say, hi, how are you? I'll go, oh yeah, I'm okay, but God, isn't it terrible what's happening in whatever the current place is? And that feels like I'm doing something. And I know some people are very performative about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you and me here. Ordinary, just, what to do in the face of this stuff. And that feels like I'm doing something. In some way, I'm expressing solidarity. But there isn't any solidarity in suffering. You suffering is like bringing your frequency down in some kind of idea that's going to help those people. It's not going to help them. It's going to bring the general vibration down. The hard thing is to let your heart break, to acknowledge it, to feel the pain, and then to look around with your life. So I'm walking in a lovely forest, and there's nobody around, and it's beautiful. It's just green, lush. It's just fantastic. Now, if I was on my phone looking at some atrocity and just feeling like, oh, feel so bad. I feel so terrible for those people. I do. My heart would break. But then to not let it go, to kind of hang on to it and keep it with me in the forest. Because it's like, if I don't feel terrible for those people, it means that I don't care. Or I do care. But for me, it's like, feel it, acknowledge it. Am I moved to do anything about it? Nope. Or yes, whichever. And then going, okay, so what's actually happening right now? Right now, I am walking in a beautiful forest. And it is beautiful. I love this forest. I'm so happy here. But what about the people who are suffering? Well, they're not in my reality. Okay, I know about it, I've heard about it, I felt it, but I must come back to what's happening right now. What's my experience? And my experience is great beauty, sweetness. I'm healthy, I've got a lovely body, meaning it works and it's beautiful. I don't have any pain. It's great. I get to, really take in all this amazing different aspects of this fantastic reality that I wake up into every morning. And I'm happy. I'm at peace. Now, the more I focus on that, the more my frequency goes up. And I don't know whether it's true or not, can't measure it, but that brings the overall field of frequency that we all share, it brings it up a little bit. I think that's true. We can't measure it, we can't prove it, but it feels true. And compared to the analogy of money, it's like I become wealthy. And with my wealthiness, I can help in some way. That wealth goes in. I'm a happy person who's wealthy, so I do happy things with my money. I'm not an unhappy person. Because one of the things about money is it amplifies whatever's going on for you. So if you're miserable, you'll be super miserable if you've got a lot of money. And if you're happy, you'll be happier. And you'll spread happy money around. That's not a Ken on to shout out. But it is true. So to do that, we have to get over the thing of, well, what'll other people think? You have to let that go. What will other people think if I'm not upset about the latest atrocity? Will they think I don't care? That's a difficult thing to face, to look right into it and go, does it matter that much? Are people watching that much? Probably not. We think people are way more interested in us than they actually are. Because everyone's so interested in themselves, me included. So if you notice that you're hanging on to a little bit of suffering, on the one hand because you think it's helping, so you go, okay, it's not helping, I get that, let that go. But then you're hanging on to a little bit when I'm around other people. Oh, isn't it terrible? Isn't it terrible? I saw that, wasn't that awful? What I'm saying is, I know about this stuff and I care. I'm a caring person. I don't know, get a t-shirt. Just get a t-shirt with "I'm a caring person" written on it. It's better for the frequency, your overall frequency, your overall happiness, and just better for us all in general if you're not like being suffering. I don't want anyone to be suffering because they think I would think they don't care. Everybody cares. I know everybody cares, and everybody feels it, and everybody is like, oh God, why is this happening? I know that. So don't do it on my benefit. I'm definitely giving you a pass on that one. And you know what? Most people probably are as well. Most people don't really, And that's not to say if you are moved to go and protest or take action, great, go and do that. Absolutely go and do that. But just don't do it happily. do it with joy. Suffering is not going to help anybody. Your suffering is not going to help anybody.